Back, though, to George Pickens. RC, how difficult do you think getting a long-term – we ask this about the Cowboys and somebody every year. How challenging is it going to be to get a long-term deal done with Pickens?
I mean, are you going to be able to get Tracy Morgan to stick to the script when he comes on later? Because that's about how difficult I think this is going to be. What I know is this. The Dallas Cowboys are going to franchise George Pickens. But George Pickens' agent, David Mulligetta, once famously told me, I'm never taking $9 on 10, and most of the time I want 11. And that's exactly how George Pickens will approach this deal. Not like he's the 1B, not like he's an elite 2, but like he's the number 1 wide receiver on this team. And so Jerry will not have the opportunity in this sense to say we don't need the agent, because they will need the agent. George Pickens went out and proved how well he can play. He kept his nose clean, away from some of the antics that we saw in Pittsburgh. And so now we'll see if he's able to get the money that he's earned.
Well, look, we always try to stick to the script in football and talk about the game on the grass. Look, this thing is the boost your earning potential. And that's what George Pickens did this year. He boosted it in a way where he is going to be the number 1 receiver for somebody if he's not getting number 1 receiver money in Dallas, and rightfully so. Like, he came from Pittsburgh. We saw the potential. RC went on record saying this dude had more talent than most of everybody in the NFL, and he put it on display this year. He was a big part of what Dallas did offensively. Dak loves him. We saw Dak at the Pro Bowl. He talked about we got to get George Pickens back. So I don't think – I'm with you, RC. And let me let America know something. When RC sitting like this and doing this, and he goes, something about to be hard. Something about to be hard.
Okay, hilarious. I think it's interesting because the Cowboys are in a difficult situation here because Pickens and his agent, this is the peak position they're going to be in to make the most amount of money because he had an awesome year and a ton of success. And from a behavior standpoint, not the best, not the worst either, right? His stock was essentially declining with Pittsburgh. You know, that's why the Cowboys were able to get him. Steelers got rid of him, right? Like, and people weren't like, oh my God, this is going to be an amazing deal, blah, blah, blah. Like, they were concerned. Then he clearly played like a top wide receiver in the NFL. Clearly played as one of the best, absolutely balled out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If he has behavioral issues, if he has some personality issues, like that will take a cut now, right? If he doesn't get a long-term deal, like that'll be a problem for him. And if he doesn't put up world-class numbers and top 2, top 3 numbers, which is definitely possible. No, we see this all the time. You're not like, just because you have all career highs one year, there's no guarantee that you do it again next year. There's no guarantee that Jackson Jigba and Sam Darnold are going to be wheeling and dealing every single game, right? Next season, Justin Jefferson, we see it every single year. Tyreek Hill, name everyone. A.J. Brown, name all the wide receivers. Jamar Chase, like these things ebb and flow right now. And so really the way how I look at it is especially if I'm looking at it from like an agent standpoint or something, because players are always going to have a very specific view of themselves. But I'm like looking at it where I'm like, your stock cannot be any higher. Your value right now is through the roof. And there's a great saucy that it can only go down from here. Not that it will. Not to say that you're now on the decline. Not to say that you're not on the incline. Just that there's a better saucy that your value takes a step back. Even if it's just by $1 million. Even if it's just by 2 million. I'm trying to be very clear with what I'm saying. There's just a better likelihood that you retread even just a little bit, because right now you are at the top, and it's just like you could absolutely potentially go higher. No doubt about it. But there's just going to be more it's just more likely that's not the case. And so you want to maximize your money. George Pickens would want to maximize his money. His agent's going to want to maximize his money. And the Cowboys obviously don't necessarily want to maximize his money. But I mean, of course, you're going to want to bring back George Pickens, even if you felt that there was some of the behavioral issues and whatnot, and you had to find him and all of that, because, like I've said this in essentially every Cowboys video, you have a shorter window with Dak Prescott right now than you think you do. You just do. You just do. You just do. You just do. Dak is not going to be at his best for the next 10 years. I'm sorry. I don't think that's how Dak's, I don't think how that's really working out for any of these quarterbacks. And so we saw what this offense looked like last year. It was awesome. It was an awesome offense. It was an awesome offense. They were wheeling and dealing. If their defense was just marginally better, boom. Now, was it a flawless offense? Did it never have any problems? Did it never look lackluster? Was it great every single game? Of course not. But it had its firepower, man. Had absolutely, positively had its firepower. And you want to continue to see that continuity and that evolution. And although you might feel that you have other receivers in the wings that can step up in this or that, I just think you want that continuity because you want to double, triple down on what you can do offensively, and you have to trust your ability to build defensively. And that's why, and I won't keep repeating this, but that's why I just kept saying that if you were going to trade Micah Parsons, you needed to do it before the draft, because now you would have already drafted someone that you would have already been able to continue to build. You would have now already been essentially in year 2 of that, of, I'll say, reworking the defense. Rebuild is too strong, but reworking the defense, and now you seemingly are like a half a step forward because you obviously made some moves and trades and whatnot, but, you would already be having a whole year now. You'd be on year 2 of just developing some of the talent that you drafted with that. So I just think you want to be able to hit the ground running, because I'm looking at this very much through the Dak Prescott timeline, but then also the CD timeline. I just think there's only so many years where this offense is going to look like the way it's going to look with the players that you truly know today. And so it's get on with it right now. It's get on with it. And you know that with Pickens, what you have, what you've been able to do. And it's so much easier to build off of that than try to figure out what you'll be able to do, say, without Pickens, and trying to figure out moving forward. But it's a tough one because he's going to want to get paid a ton, right? And break that bank. And, I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is up for a new contract, for an extension. He could get paid like $40 million a year and whatnot. So it's an interesting situation. And if you weren't going to pay Micah, well, then who are you going to pay? Like, I don't know. It's a lot of juggling right now. And I can't imagine that you can just tag him in George Pickens and be like, yeah, it's fine. I'll put my head down getting paid this year, and then I'm going to ball out this coming season and get my contract. Like, I don't even think that's good business for him necessarily. As I was saying, if you're an agent, like, I don't think that's what you want. That's not what I'm encouraging my client to do either. It's like, you proved what you can do. You just literally had career highs. When you put up career highs and you're eligible for a contract, like, you get that money now. You get that money now. You're not banking on the fact that you're going to then have another season with career high. That's just bad math. The math is against you. Not to say that it can't happen. Not to say that you're going to fall off a cliff. I feel like I emphasize that as clearly as I can. But it's just proper business. It's just smart money management. It really, really is. Right? You strike while the iron is hot. Right? That's why we have these cliches. To strike while the iron is hot, and the iron is hot. But what does that mean for the Cowboys and how they navigate this situation? I don't know, man. And do things get weird with Pickens and his agent and all of that? Like, I don't know, man. But the Cowboys do always make it. They do make things interesting. I will say that I do really appreciate that from the Dallas Cowboys, that every offseason and every regular season, things get interesting, and when they make the postseason, it's certainly always interesting as well. So I do appreciate that. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Dallas Cowboys, George Pickens? How do you feel about the way how they're handling this tagging Pickens? Because I know there was all these rumors that they're going to maybe tag and trade them, and who honestly knows at this point. But let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get to some discussions. Let's get some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next.